Asked to see whether or not we will be able to skip over some of the non-classification questions and talk about classification, because classification is extremely important thing to do. So in response to that, I'm going to do just that. So I'm going to skip over a few questions and jump directly to the classification and of October 2021 exam. And what we'll have is we'll start from the question 34, dealing with articles of base metal. All right, so I know that we have some new folks joining in, so I think it is worthwhile to give a sneak or rather a brief overview about how things will be. So pretty much the way things work here is we do the classification according to the general rules of interpretation, GRIs. We go from GRI 1 all the way through GRI 6. And the basic premise is you start out with what's legally binding, and the legally binding part here is the terms of the headings, chapter notes, and section notes. That's where you start. And as we shall see today, most of the things can be eliminated through just by sticking to the GRI 1. And its echo at the subheading level, which is general rule of interpretation 6. Sometimes you have little sticky issues, and if time allows, we'll also cover those. So those sticky issues to talk about the unassembled articles, or talk about mixtures of articles, or talk about articles which are for one reason or another classifiable in more than one heading. And this is when unassembled stuff over here, assembled but classified in more than one heading over here. And this is we're talking about the general rule of interpretation 3, and most of the time they are resolved at 1, but by going to GRI 3 you have the rule of relative specificity, and we'll talk about that, mixtures or the essential character, which is B, and last in numerical order, which is general rule of interpretation C. So this is a brief overview of the things that took place, and this is the tool set with which we will go. Keeping in mind the general rule of interpretation 1, the basic methodology for most classification questions, because you get 5, would be the one where you start with terms of the headings. So under GRI 1, you start with a heading first. Then if that doesn't get resolved, you go to the chapter notes. And then if that doesn't get resolved at the chapter level, you go to the section notes. Of course, section notes and chapter notes can be is an amorphous concept, because sometimes classification happens in the same section. In this particular scenario, if it's in the same section, those particular the section notes are not relevant, because you are dealing with classification in the same section. All right, so that's pretty much the background of what we have over here. The next item would be to actually roll up the sleeve and dive in at what is going on with classification.